This is Youth Skolaz Radio 96.1 FM, and I am Zion, and I'm with
Tibu,
Amir.
and we will be talking about homelessness in America and how it's affecting our communities and how the government doesn't want it to end. In America, there is a subtle culture that has been going on since our great nation has been founded. As soon as the original immigrants formed this government, there have been laws against poor people, homeless people, and disabled people. Most of those laws have been meant to degrade us, silence us, and humiliate us. For our corporate entertainment system is designed to make us hate ourselves for being poor. It sells us extremely expensive products very casually, which in turn makes us feel like it is only natural that we should have the amount of money that they are expecting us to. Yet we do not, because most of our time as low-income citizens are spent holding up the richest of our society, and the government approves of this because it is the richest of our society.
In the past decade, homeless encampments have been across the country. The reason why people put tents under bridges and stuff then on the streets is to avoid police harassment. Police will constantly hear complaints even though the homeless person didn't do anything, but they would ask them to leave in a certain time or just kill them. The most current reasons why they're homelessness because of eviction, because rich privileged people who come to the neighborhood because they like the neighborhood or etc. The rich people is willing to give more than the tenant that's been living there. The house owner would usually take the higher amount, so sometimes the tenant that has been kicked out doesn't have enough money to live anywhere else, so now their choice is to be houseless. So they will end up sleeping on the streets, but then that's when the police starts harassing them and keep telling them to leave, or they will make an excuse to kill them for being homeless.
Please stop sweeping us because we don't have nowhere to go. When you sweep us, we get trauma. Also, when you say our stuff is garbage, it's not. It is our resources that make us survive. If you sweep us, we still come back our way. The coalition is homelessness, a organization homeless people and frontline service provides to create a permanent solution to homelessness, working to protect the human rights of those forced to remain on the streets.
So now we will begin our slides presentation, starting off with Zion.
Over the years,
Okay, no, yeah, just introduce it.
oh yeah, this is visually vandalizing us vagrants.
That's right. And this is criminalizing of poverty by the U.S. government in California, and it's by
Tibu, Amir, and Zion.
Okay, and so the first slide will be by Amir.
Yeah. Okay. Over the years and throughout countless generations in the United States and all of America, poverty has been shameful and formed upon. Homelessness even more so. The rich is ruled this country, but although they try as hard as they can to provide that, they hate the poor. They would not be able to be rich if it weren't for us.
Next slide. So, Zion, just go ahead.
They may not think this, but a lot of homeless people came from low-income houses, just like most of us do. Most of them became homeless because they were kicked out of said homes. The rent might have been too much, or they could have lost their jobs. Anything that most of us fear that might happen to us happened to them, and that caused them to be homeless.
So I'm going to read off some statistics of how people in the Bay Area became homeless. So, there's 30%. These wheels here represent, this first one represents San Francisco. I'll just go through San Francisco because this is something that a place that almost all of us have lived in or have been houseless in. So in San Francisco, 30% have lost jobs, and that is their reason to be houseless. Another 21% is alcohol or drug use, and actually 17% has been to eviction. And 18% has been for argument or a family for a friend asks you to leave, and about 14% has been divorce, a separation, or a breakup. And so here's the thing. None of these people should be homeless, yet we see all of them on the streets every day. So the next slide will be going to Amir.
Sadly, although slightly exaggerated, this comment here is surprisingly true. Police violence against homeless and poor people is proven to be a way more likely than toward rich people and people who have light skin.
So real quick, this comic, which I found from Ted Raw Comics. Yes, Zion's gonna go ahead and read it.
It was 4 cops versus 1 unarmed man. Why you shoot him?
And the other one says, there wasn't enough time to call for an airstrike. And so, like I said before, it's exaggerated, but it's true. There have been a lot of cases of houseless people being shot down by police who didn't even have a chance and were shot by beanbags, which are like highly dangerous rubber bullets that pierce the skin and that are really, really volatile and fatal. And yeah, it just happens all the time. And so it's just a sad thing that we see. Next slide, please. Okay, so I will be reading this slide, and so one of the ways that, so amongst all of this country and in the entire world, there's houselessness. But one of the ways that we're able to help address that solution to this government is by marching on it. And we are from June 2nd to June 14th will be the 2018 Poor People's March on Washington. This march will mark the 50th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s Poor People's Campaign in Resurrection City, erected in 1968 on the National Mall. The 2018 Poor People's March on Washington will begin on June 2nd from the Kensington neighborhood of Philadelphia to the poorest district in Pennsylvania, and end on June 14th at the National Mall in Washington, D.C. For more information, check out the March website. Also, sign up to join us and donate $10 a day today to support this effort. Next slide, please. Now, this is also Poor Magazine research, and so these are homeless sweeps and how they affect us. And so that is San Francisco current Mayor Mark Farrell. And so the byline says that Mayor Mark Farrell on Monday said the city would conduct sweeps of homeless tent encampments in the Mission District and announced plans for an expanded needle cleanup effort with the Department of Public Health and the SF AIDS Foundation. Here's the thing. That needle cleanup really means that they're just trying to get an excuse for them to, that corporation and that the government is trying to get an excuse to clear all of us out of our streets. And real quick, I'm just going to read, out of the 26 research report interviews of unhoused people, that Poor Magazine, our solution to houselessness right here, and conducted under the Roofless Radio Project, 20 of the 26 people are being swept 3 times a week. The last 5 interviews that were conducted in the San Francisco Mission District, the subjects of the interview are being swept twice a day. Imagine that, having to move twice a day to a different location, and you're not even in a house, you're on the street. 33% of cities prohibit camping wide, and 50% prohibit camping particular public places, increases of 69% and 48% from 2006 to 16, respectively. So, Zion, go to slide 7.
Here's the thing. The U.S. is always talking about getting rid of the homeless crisis, but really, they're one of the main reasons for it. As long as they continue to move us around and put us into jail, they aren't solving our problems.
So, like this man here has a sign saying homelessness is not a crime. Because it is, but it shouldn't be. Because see, the United States government criminalizes us for being on the streets even though they're the ones who are taking us out in the first place. Next slide, please. So I'm just going to read through this one really quickly. There are many organizations helping out unhoused people and people under severe poverty. One of those organizations, as I mentioned before, is Poor Magazine, an organization that is poor people helping each other instead of big nonprofits helping us. So this is one state real quick, is just that California cities have enacted a large number of anti-homeless laws. The 58 cities in our study, a study of the UC Berkeley, it's a nonprofit, but we do use some of their information sometimes, have enacted at least 500 anti-homeless laws restricting the 4 categories of activity noted above, nearly 9 laws per city on average. Next slide, please. And so, real quick.
Corporations are using people who look like us to defend who's really behind it. There's people who looks like us gentrifying the streets, not knowing the consequences these homeless people have to deal every day.
So, those are the last of our slides. And so, everybody, this is Youth Poverty Scholarship Radio, 96.1 KEXU.
I'm Zion.
And that was our presentation. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, boy. No, let's get fucked up.